Juma.
Good morning, Sheila.
Morning to you too. Juma.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah. Ebu nipe permission ya kurecord. It's telling me to ask the host to give me permission to record.
Ask nicely.
Don't make me ask twice.
Sema please.
Nipe permission wewe.
Najaribu kutafuta hiyo option. Sijui mali iko, najua
ya kuletea ka request hapo.
Z. Screen share. Najua mimi uko nimeweka by default record kwa screen yangu.
Sasa ile time nyingine kumbe yako ndio nilikuwa naona ati na record. Alafu nadhani ni yangu.
I figured out that. Sio ni option by the way.
Ni sawa tu. Si niko na copy yako.
Yep. Utaipata pale YouTube. Grand Pics. So
subscribe.
No worries.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to my channel. We'll be looking for daily analysis. So the content. Give me content. Give me content.
We got to make it tukaacha kutumia audio.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to our YouTube channel. It is the Grand Pips family.
Family tena.
Ndio wanasemanga. Ya slogan sijui ya Jesus ndio wana imitate yangu.
Ndio si copyright iwe.
Right tukai.
Mbona wataja bila permission?
Nimewapea hiyo, hata ni marketing wanafaa kunilipa, free marketing. So ni kama wengine net zimepotea kwao, tunaweza anza.
It's a Friday. Let's see what the market is saying.
It's a Friday na morning.
Unajua wengine wanaamkia sherehe.
Mazee akina hii ana akina hii ana kwa beach.
Yeye anajaitwa kabisa ndio wale.
Yeye anashingi kwa beach.
Asha make it.
Niulize beach boy inamaanisha angaje, like the boy is a beach ama kwa beach.
Tamuita meeting kando. Tueleze.
Tutamuuliza beach boy inamaanisha aje, kama ni a guy who is a beach ama ni mse anakaanga kwa beach.
Oh my god, na tumuize kaya ni member so ya association.
By the way, si nasikangawa sasa kwa masonko anachango vitu na wazungu.
Labda ni maana show up Friday acha ad.
Sasa tu hivyo ni mic ame-mute.
Alikuwa present angeongea.
Ni mic tu ame-mute, anatusikia tu tukimwingilia hapa.
Hapo present. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning Juma.
Tulikuwa tunashinda ulienda wapi kwa beach already?
Good morning.
Tulikuwa beach runs. Tulikuwa morning.
Ama wewe ni day watch.
Ametoka night shift.
Lakini naogopa beach za asubuhi huko hapana.
Zile asubuhi.
Ufai kuamkia.
Huko unasikia ma story unaweza toka asubuhi.
Zile hizo mawezi za asubuhi na jioni kabisa.
Hata hivyo ama unatumika hadi ka bait.
Tikabi. Wakushika nini?
Ewe achana nayo tu. Lakini pali mzuri nianze kwenda asubuhi kwanza kani hiyo waves pia. Lakini tunajua beach inakuwa imetulia saa asubuhi maji haiko hadi low tides.
Naona
Wewe ndio uko na experience.
Unaweza kuwa umebaiacho already.
Sasa situfanye kitu mbio alafu
good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nani huyo na yuko kwa participants tumtafute?
Huyu ni mtu wako offline. Huyu ni mwalimu wako offline.
Introduce.
Karibu jina.
Elim.
Karibu sana mazee.
Wazi.
So tujoiningi hapa pia sisi tunachapa hii kitu tunaona siku itakuaje.
Hata tujoin very soon.
Wazi.
Wewe unatafuta customers huko.
Wacha watu watujoin mazee tu trade tu pamoja. Hii trading inakuwaga lonely at times especially kama una community yako.
Mazee.
Inakuanga awesome sana.
Ndio unaitanga meeting daily.
Kuboeka
hivyo.
Ona Juma.
Sio kuboeka.
Kutumisi.
Kuna kitu inaitwa networking. Ni networking.
Okay.
Lakini pia pesa ni sabuni ya roho. Ukishapata unaweza tembea kwa Ian akupeleke kwa Yach. Kushua anajua mse anaweza haya kama Airbnb.
Wakati. Please.
Anamzo masara
yangu.
Sawa, tuanze hii kitu ndio juu ya time.
Yeah.
Mazee. So leo mazee kuna news mob especially za USD. Kila mtu ajishikia kalenda yake. Source inakuanga Forex Factory. Mimi natumianga kwa platform ya FTMO because nina trading now, but source inakuanga Forex Factory. So ukiingia pale Forex Factory you'll find a good economic calendar. So basically when we'll be looking for fundamental analysis, we talk about news and this is basically the summary of it. So maybe in future we'll be looking at what each news does or how it affects the market or the specific currencies. So for the newbies, some of those people who are not familiar with this calendar, it's very basic. This instrument is what will be affected by this currency, and this is the date and time that the news will happen. So these, as you can see, I've only highlighted for today, that is on Friday. So these are all today's news. So later on during the day from 15:30, we'll be seeing more news about the US dollar. But again, we are not expecting it to have a lot of impact except for for around 15:30 we'll be experiencing and 1700 hours, and as well as 1915 hours we'll be experiencing some sort of movement in the market because of the news. These are high impact news. The ones highlighted in red are will have a high impact. So but they are still safe to trade, especially when you know the direction of the market. So that is it for the news. So we'll be watching out for the hours that I've mentioned. Kindly, let's be careful with that. So let's start with the Great Britain pound against the yen. So yesterday we were looking for the yen to make higher highs. Unfortunately, it did not. Instead, it came back to the consolidation area. So we had said that once it breaches this area, we'll be looking for the sells, but since it has not yet, we still are very positive on the buyer side. Again, like I said, maybe there is not much to analyze because we've been looking at these currencies since the week began. So basically the same analysis that we've been doing. When you look at it in 4 hours, still you will see that the bulls have not been taken out, and still we can see that they've taken over until they breach this point to the downside. Yes, Ian?
Juma.
Yes.
Juma, unakumbuka jana ukiniuliza my opinion in this market?
Yeah.
Actually nikakwambia ati I'm seeing a tree ati doji dragonfly na naona kahama.
So
actually
that was a daily
ilikuwa 4 hour, ilikuwa tu hapo. Na ilikuwa kwa resistance point. So like mimi nili classify like a northern star doji na hanging man as a dragonfly, doji na hama. Like sasa nikakaa hivi hadi nikikaa yani like over the day nikakumbuka kwani nilifanya aje, ndio nikaenda kwa ile YouTube video ni post ndio nikaona like kumbe nimeclassify wrongly kabisa. So unaona like the market ili drop kabisa chini kwenda.
So was this a big movement for you? This one?
Yeah, obviously big movement. So like so like unajua kwa hiyo dodges like sasa unapata a doji ikihappen on an uptrend sasa like kama hiyo venye ilikuwa ina happen. So like hizo doji kama hiyo tutaita northern star. Kisha kama hizi kama like on this chart ya 1 hour ukiona like where the market reversed actually. Huko chini penye unapata 2 dodges hapo. So like a doji on a like kwa chini ya trend kabisa unapata like those dodges zinaitwa southern star dodges. Lakini ile kenye inafanyika on uptrends kama hadi kenye iko hapo juu like those are northern star kenye zina happen juu like I signify kwamba the market is going to change currently, lakini sasa inaenda the market ina change saa hiyo lakini inakuambia kwamba there might be some vulnerability to kwa market like iko na more signs ya ku change the trend kenye iko nayo. So like ndio unafaa kungoja like sasa more candles zinakufumia na zinakupea like more trading ideas. Sasa ukienda like for 4 hour kama hiyo like sasa unaona like umebrudi 4 hour. Baada the hanging man kukuja kulikuwa na candle moja kenye like inakaa bullish. Ni more bullish but actually see like the bulls walijaribu kuenda more up to the doji. So like the doji ndio ilikuwa ina signify kwamba kunaweza kuwa na market change, like market in change the direction. Then the hanging man kenye inakuja actually inakuonesha like the bulls are being hanged. Inamaanisha tu kwa Japanese wanamaanisha like hanging man tu ni kuhang tu prices. Then the next one ni high wave candle. Like sasa hiyo high wave candle inaonyesha kwamba like sasa kama hapo bulls walikuja actually wakapita like where the northern star doji ilikuwa. So the first doji sijui kana naweza chora ni kuonesha.
Let me do that.
Hadi naweza chora?
Hapa you can draw my screen. Okay.
So unaona ya kwanza
narudi nenda kesho ama kesho kutwa mwenyewe.
Tulia kiasi Juma.
Friday night.
So
yes, Ian.
Pole hapo napata unajua ninaishi na comrades.
Haina mambo
So acha sasa ni kutoka hii ya kwanza where like saa ebu tutoe unaona the doji kwanza venye ilikuja hapo. The doji inaonyesha kwamba like the prices actually imaacha the trend. So, like ina signify kwamba kuna some like sasa there is some
sellers.
Like sasa the buyers actually so unaona like kuna a rally from down here kabisa hapa chini. Like kutoka chini where the market reverse ndo tukapata like a bullish signal sasa kupanda. Alafu ujue penye inafanyika tena ina happen on a point penye tuko na resistance level. Unaona? So like the first place from where the bulls woke up where tulikuwa sasa na hiyo trend na ikapanda hadi penye iko. So like hatuko tumeona like another doji kama hii. So like this doji ikakuja up on an uptrend pia na iko kwa resistance level. So hii kwanza ikatuonyesha kwamba kuna vulnerability ama the bulls actually wana separate from the trend and actually sasa this time hii inaonyesha like sasa indecision tu kwa market kwamba the bulls wanaweza kuwa wanaelekea wanashindwa kupeleka the market lakini actually hawakushindwa kupeleka the market hapa haya. Then the next candle ikakam ni hanging man. So hanging man simple inamaanisha like the bulls actually were being hanged hapo hivyo. Alafu the next one was a high wave candle. Sasa high wave candle inaonyesha kwamba the first time kulikuwa na bulls. The bulls actually took out like unaona venye ni a small real body. The bulls actually took out the previous resistance actually na wakenda much higher. Like waka break ile resistance lakini hawakuweza ku hold the positions up high. Na sasa in that session ukapata like wakatolewa tena na sellers wakafunga like a small. Then the next candle sasa ndio ilikuwa inaonyesha okay ile trend kabisa imeachana na you can now enter a sell position. So like unaona ukikutanisha those candles na pia inakupea like a confluence on a resistance level ndio unapata like sasa inakupea more clear reversal points.
I get it.
Like
now the
jana sasa mimi nika classify kama dragonfly dodge na nika classify tena kama hanging man na hammer. So like dragonfly dodge na hammers will happen on support levels. Kama inge happen hapa chini, kama this candle hapa chini, this one is a hammer. Like that is a market hammering in. Sasa iko on a point of iko clearly on a downtrend kabisa imefika chini. Sasa hapo hivyo ndo unapata like the market is hammering in gaining support. Unaona penye ilianza ku happen ndo tulipata tena an engulfment na market ikaanza kupanda kwenda juu.
Yep. I get it. Now the challenge with this place, Ian, is like you just said, there is a lot of indecision in the market, especially where we are at. Ukiangalia in 1 hour, we realize that there are very strong SNR areas. This being one of them, and this being another one. And after we break out at this point, tutakuwa tuna look kwenda juu more, because this is where the point sellers walikuwa wamepata support kwanza wakajaribu, the buyers wakashindwa, but if they breach this point to the upper side, then we'll be looking for more buys. On this side, if they breach this area to the downside, we'll know that the seller that activated this market from here is still very active.
Yes.
From this point is still very active, but akibreachiwa this point tutajua umse amedai. So the issue here is on have the bulls taken over the market. Before hata tuangalie anything else, because we have the confirmation. You see, we can use the 4 hours for this trend that may form up. This sell here is activated by what you're saying. But in the long run, because we want to look at this market in the long run, will it be going down or will it be going up? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. So this still remains our area of interest, and this still remains our area of interest. Because because there are these sellers in the market doesn't mean they've taken out this buyer who activated the market. You see this guy? This guy is still very active.
Hapo hivyo mimi nakubaliana na
so until then, yes, what you're saying, we would have sold yesterday for a short term for the day position. Yes, but in the long run we still haven't confirmed that the sellers have taken over. As of now, what we know is that the buyers have taken over, and it will be riskier for us to sell at this moment.
Huwezi uza sahi iko on a point of support. Ukijaribu kuuza hiyo tu unapata like pesa yako imeenda hivyo.
So even ndo nasemanga sometimes even not trading is the best trade you can ever place. So like until tuone tumeanza kurudi juu ndio tutabuy. So as at now, wacha to remain so what we'll be looking during the day ni kama tuta breach this point. If we do, then we will avoid the buys. But if it goes upper, then we'll be looking for more buys and a higher high. Yeah, so that is what we can say for the Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen. Kuna swali?
Yeah, kuna swali.
So
like, what's the overall trend of the market right at the moment?
The overall trend, kama sasa tukiangalia from the daily chart, tunaona we've been in the bulls market. This is a buyer's market in the daily chart. In 4 hours, tuna scale down hivyo ndio tuone where we are at. In 4 hours, ukiangalia poa unaona it has formed some form of a consolidation in 4 hours. Ikakuja ikadip but ikakam back, ikakuja ikadip but imekam back, iko hiyo area yenye tuko our area of interest. But when we look at it in 1 hour, 1 hour, you realize that the bulls have taken over the market at this point. And why we are saying the bulls have taken over the market at this point is because they've come up to challenge this area, and we cannot ignore the fact that the small consolidation happened over this area. You see the highlighted area with this bar?
Yeah.
If these candles formed inside this bar, then we would say that the sellers are still very strong. But since it formed here, then we can say that the buyer's market is still very, very. This buyer has not died. He's activated the market and he's not died yet. These green candles, that is what we are saying. These candles are still very active. And this is one of the things that we look at when we're looking at a market reversal. So if we say that we are still selling because the trend from here is selling, we will be wrong, because we'll never capture when the market is changing the trend.
Juma, do you know why I support you even much further? So like, if you see the market, we had a lower high over this point. Like there was a lower high before these markets reversed. And actually the bulls who came from much lower actually took out that lower high, and actually they made a new point. So like the bulls already scored a new point.
Yeah.
So the bulls are in the market, knocked over the lower high, then the market reversed a little bit. So what we want now to see, like the bulls come back again and take out the new high that they made.
So I'll be doing a course of buyers and sellers, so that we can know when to change, when the trend changes, so that we can get in time. Because if we look at this market generally, we are still very on time. And even these buyers, even these sellers might breach this point. But if they do not breach this point, then we are still in the buyers. The only difference is if they breach this point. But if they do not breach this point to the downwards, we will see that is a buyers. What happens in the market sometimes is when a trend forms and every trader wants to buy, then the market, instead of doing that, there is oversupply. And so what happens is the prices go down and takes out every buyer. But the market doesn't mean the buyers were wrong. They just had what we call it like untimely entries. And sometimes you can be taken out even when you're right. That one you should know. Yeah. So until this point is breached downwards again, these buyers are still in control. So what we do when the market is undecided or we cannot define the market, we avoid that market. And we say that there are so many currency pairs that we can trade for the day. But as at now, we're looking at a buy. Yeah. Si tuko pamoja hapo? Sijui kama nimekujibu ama tutafanya session nyingine juu ya time pia.
Iko fiti.
So ni kitu kaa hiyo. So for now we are still looking for the buys, wanaweza come down. USD CAD, this is what has been happening in the USD CAD. Remember we had said that tukifika hii area tunaweza pata some sort of reversal. Generally, this market has been going down in the daily chart. But again, the first thing ndio tunasema, when they breach this point, when this area was breached to the upper side, then it shows that these bulls who activated the market down here, these bulls that activated the market here, naona hapa, this area, they are still very alive. Let me use that word. They are still very alive. And since they breached this area, hata kama walienda chini, doesn't mean that they've been taken out. This guy is still very alive. This big boy is still very alive. And we cannot ignore the fact that they went up and did challenge again. Yes, they were unable, but it means they are preparing themselves to go back again and challenge and maybe even make higher highs. And until then, that is why we said our first take profit is this point. But we are saying there's a change of market direction because they were able to breach this point. If walikuja waka reverse tu hapa na akakuja aka continue na sell, atungesema the market is, the bulls have taken over the market. That is why we are looking at a buy in this instance. If we look at it in 4 hours, this is how it looks in 4 hours. No, this is like our support area, and until it is breached to the downside, we cannot say that we are in the seller's territory. This buyer who activated the market here is still in control. Unaona amekuja chini lakini bado anapanda. Hivyo ndio ninajaribu kusema kuna some things we look at the sellers and territory, the sellers which are very basic before tuanze ku analyze maybe the candles, so that tuone entries are daily ama hourly for scalpers tuone, but the market direction in general is a buy. The bulls have taken over the market. And if you look at the 4 hours, unaona kuna time wamekuwa wakipanda poa and they formed a V, an inverted V, and that's why we are saying we will be looking for another buy to challenge this area. And this area nime highlight, I think nime highlight because of the previous resistance tukiangalia in the market. So we'll be targeting this point to begin with, but tukasema again, if this area is breached to the downside, then we will not be looking for any trades on this currency until we have another confirmation it is a buy or a sell. So that is still our stand for today, and you can see that since yesterday the market took over to start to the buys. So if you've not entered this market, we'll be looking for some sort of retracement here kidogo, and then we can get our good buys.
But Juma, isn't it worth to wait until to trade in a US currency, any pair against the US? Is it worth to wait until the news is out?
You see, the news will happen later during the day, and when we look at the news, because it is a lot of analysis, there is a possibility that we'll still be looking for the buys.
Juma, unakumbuka jana, I remember you yesterday saying that the V, like, okay, the market will bounce, actually going up. Okay, like the daily, I'm very bullish kwa sababu unaangalia the daily on this market actually ni engulfment. So actually I'm very bullish on this market kwa daily. The 4 hours I'm very bullish pia. Lakini ukikuja hapo kwa 1 hour, unakumbuka jana ukisema like hadi ukiangalia how the market structure inakaa sahi, like ili break out of a range. Jana nikikaa like I was waiting for this market actually to break out. So ilikuwa kwa on my range on the 1 hour iko on a range actually. Na isha break out of the range. Yeye kenye unasema i retrace kiasi. I just wanted to see like ikihit the range kenye tulikuwa nayo. So actually ndo you confirm. Ilitonga the last kiss trade. Actually when a market in a breakout out of a ranging market or out of a box, actually the market must come back and they make sure that the previous resistance to the market actually is now the current support. So what we are waiting for here, Saituni, we just kissed the trade for the last time actually, and the bulls to come to end. So actually if the news had come, so what can happen to the trade? You kuna news pia na unajua maybe the US dollar it lose value ama actually it increase in value, but actually we are very bullish on this market. So actually what we are waiting ni the US dollar again power, sindio, you want to buy the US dollar. So I'm very bullish on it, and mimi nitakuwa nangoja to this time actually go up high. So tutaona tu Monday how it goes actually.
Yeah, so this might even take time, but the point is, even hata news zikikam na breach this point, now see, and again we do not look for perfection in this market. If you breach this point with a week, that does not count, because inaweza kuwa na a week a spike alafu irudi back into the market, and that happens all the time. Ndio mara nyingi tunashinda tukisema stop hunts and stuff, but the thing is, once wame take over na and you see, like for example, this was the last lower high. This was the last low high when the market was coming down, and it was this guy was able to breach this area. So there's no reason to doubt that in 1 hour's chart in the USD card, the bulls have it. The bulls are in control of the market. That is what we can say for now before we look even at anything else. So the fundamentals will just come later during the day, and the news, what we are expecting for today, because it's not even high volatile, we are experiencing even these news hata ziki affect market as it affect big time, because unless the impact of all of them, because there's a lot of them, but there's no specific price that will affect the market that big. So we might be seeing some big candles, but not that big to take us out kama stop loss yako iko hapa. The challenge is where you get your entry at this point.
So, you know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
I think that today's news should be a preparation, because today is the last Friday of the month, isn't it?
Yep.
So we are preparing for the new Friday, which itakuwa next week, where we will be receiving the high volume news.
The NFP.
So like today you should be just giving you a trajectory of where the market should be heading, maybe next week.
By the way, this month inakaje kwa hii USD card? Where is the market looking like tukienda kufunga?
This is how it looks.
See, on a Monday time frame, but to consolidation. So like we wanna see the news today coming in and
activating
like, okay.
this.
Juma,
yeah,
can you zoom in on the last part of this month, the last part hapa mwisho?
This one.
Yeah, like can you see the kind of candles you're forming on the monthly time frame?
Yeah.
So like the up there, the pure resistance to make up, it's a very it has a very large surprise, isn't it? Have a very large surprise in the market right there. So, and remember, this is the US dollar is the mother pair. Canadian dollar is what we are trading on this.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility this market might go down.
So okay.
Juma, lakini unajua kusema hii market iende chini tena, tutakuwa tunajaribu juu pia ni monthly. Okay, kusema kwenda this monthly actually tunaangalia ni kitu kubwa sana.
Cheki, the thing is what he's saying, he might be correct, yes, but there's something I want us to understand, that the reason why we are here, we only have 10 minutes now. I think nitaunda tu meeting ingine. The reason why we are here is to discuss such, by the way, and it's good. I like it. If you look at it in the monthly hour, you'll see that venye tunasema kwanza, the bulls have taken over the market. Wamepita the previous. Alijaribu, this was the last higher high, the lower high. Wamekuja wakapita, according to price action. Wamekuja wakapita, but they were unable. So these were just weeks. So this tunasema ilikuwa fake. This guy came back and even tried harder, ana akakuja sasa akapita. So this is where we are standing right now. If you look at it, kuna mtu atasema this is a double top, mwingine atasema this is a formation. Watu watatoka na formation zao M, W.
Later two tops.
Yeah. So that is very correct as well. But again, these buyers have not been taken out even in the monthly.
Yeah.
And
actually I suppose.
The good thing is when we're looking at the buys and sells, then most of the time unapatanga it works on all charts. Hata tukienda yearly, kama kunaweza kuwa na yearly chart, we will still see the same and we still determine the same, because you can look at the buys. Now, in future, because we are still doing a course, we want to release a course very soon, we will look at time frames. So what he's saying is, when you look at the market in a person who is swing trading, for us, we are intraday traders, so we do not concentrate with the biggest chart. We are looking for a daily and a 4 hours, and our entries based on 1 hour or even lower, because we are intraday traders. But if you are swing trader, then we can do our analysis the way he's saying, and that is very okay. Sijui kama hapo tuko pamoja, because for us tunaangalia ya leo na next week. Atuangali, we do not want to swing, because we do not buy and sell, we do not hold our trades for over weeks and months. For us, we trade daily or even some days in a week, and we get out in the market. That is why this is important. So that is, I think, hapo ndio hapo tukijua hivyo sasa tunaweza kuwa tunasikizana. But what we're saying is right. We can do our analysis according to the monthly. Na unaweza ona hawajabreach monthly hapa, hawajabreach, the buyers have not taken over since it started from here. This seller is still very strong, but still hakubreach this point.
But we're still on the previous resistance. Ndio tunajaribu kubreach saa hizi. Can you have the resistance from here when the current price iko? Because that's the most urgent thing.
Hapa kuna support.
There's a support there, which was a prior resistance. There's the support down there and there's the resistance.
Juma,
so
acha tu nirahisishe kazi zote. Unaona, suppose tukienda una chart na tupate engulfment. Sasa tupate like an example, kuna hiyo engulfment previous one penye kwanza penye huko karibu na wewe, kuna an engulfment hapo, kuna engulfment nyingine mbele yako, then where the market actually 3 months ago kuna engulfment. So an engulfment simply on the low of the engulfment hapo tunaweza support. Actually an engulfment inside a market inamaanisha kwamba unaangalia the bears actually walikuwa na rarua market from the resistance point. Actually they were bringing this market down from the latest point, the latest high, kutoke penye walifika kabisa huko karibu 1.5 ama 1.45 actually huko juu. So kutoke hapo juu unaona like the bears walileta the market chini. Kufika hapo chini penye tunaona like kulikuwa na weeks penye, yani kulikuwa na support level there. So actually the market engulfed there. That is the first engulfment in the market, actually signifying kwamba the bulls are actually back in the market. The bulls are taking back the market. Hapo kutoke hapo sasa unapata the candles imeanza kupanda juu. Imejaribu kupanda juu actually na the engulfment too simple to kwa candlestick. An engulfment just means like the bulls are back in the market. Tukienda on a selling market kupata an engulfment tunasema like the sellers are now in the market. Hiyo sasa like ndio tunaweza interpret ndio on the low of that engulfment tunaweka tu our support, ndio tusikuwe like tunaweka like all supports mingi ama support region, lakini kwa hiyo monthly the support iko on the low to of that engulfment ama 50% of the engulfment. Pia tutaleta kwa hiyo course yetu tu.
Unaona pia like this price was ili breach kidogo kuja kwa hizi weeks, but it was rejected very quickly pia. Generally, general for someone who is new in the market and is looking at this chart, this price was rejected very quickly, meaning the buyers are still in the market, and until end lower than this point we cannot confirm that the sellers have taken over the market. But again, like I said, maybe we are looking at the wrong chart, because we're supposed to be looking at today's trade and so the same thing ndio tunasema, it is very important for us to know what type of a trader are we. And hizo vitu tutakuwa tunazifanya kwa webinars, like we'll be looking for webinars and doing such analysis. Tunaona what type of a trader are you, what charts ama time frame are you supposed to be using, are you busy during the day, are you free during the day, are you on the charts like throughout. So with that, it is very easy for us to know the direction of the market and such. So for today we'll be looking for retracement. That is what we're looking for today, some sort of retracement, and then we can get back in.
Mimi nakubaliana na totally hapo.
But again, remember this is a discussion and what he's bringing up is okay. On Monday tutakuwa hapa tena. We'll look at the market again and see who is, we cannot be right 100% every day. And even
maana tuko na community.
Yeah, mi nakumbuka the one trade that I got, a bigger one, was gold, na ilikuwa the first day kulikuwa na mention ya vaccine in US. There was a very big sell on gold, and those news hatukuwa tunazi expect. I was able to capture, yes, but after nime hit stop loss kwanza, alafu nika-re-enter the market. Unaona? So it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is it. So for, I think naona tuko na 3 minutes as itakuwa enough. So let me create another meeting and then we can continue.
Sawa.